Hey, and welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, little update. It's Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific, in case you wanted to know when and where you were. And they call me Chris of the Northwest. We're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers. Cashiers, you know, the people who sell geocaches, no, geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're trying to return the pink bunny outfit your aunt got you, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Yes, and welcome back to the Pacific time zone, by the way, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
Good to have you back.
It is good to be back.
Tonight, we're going to be having a lot of fun. We're talking with two of our favorite guests, GiaCaches and JT Coffee. So
hello.
Welcome back to the show. You guys are so much fun. We can't top it for the year. We're done after this. We ain't coming back till next year.
Good plan.
Okay. Live audience, I don't even have to tell you. Jump in the chat. I can already see the heckling beginning there. We love having you here. This is great. But to round out our last podcast of 2023, I'll have to tell you that I'm Wit's End, and it's time to bring in our old man orangutan. It's like Father Time, but not quite as young.
Well,
some say, what's that?
He's like Father Time, but monkeying around.
Yes. Some say he has more hang-ups than a dry cleaner. And others say he puts on a master class in Earth Cache sass. All we know is he's called a land monkey.
Hey, good to be back here. It is a Thursday night, as Chris already alluded to, and I've already gotten through the cashier line, so I've got my geocaching ready to go. Thanks, Chris, for reminding us that you got to pay to play. All right. It is looking forward to a fun episode tonight. We'll be gentle, but well, you guys know us. It's good to see you guys. Good to be here.
It's so good to be here.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, before we jump into all the fun we're going to have tonight, and audience, we're looking forward to the fun you guys are going to share as well. A quick reminder that we appreciate the support of all of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. A special thanks, of course, to Land Sharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. They have the Black Friday sales going on now, so check it out at landsharkz.ca. And our other corporate Denali level sponsor is Gold Country Geotourism. So learn more about the geotours, the region, by checking out Gold Country or Explore Gold Country. And that's either at exploregoldcountry.com or on Facebook. Just type in Explore Gold Country, and that's how you'll start your exploration of Gold Country. All right, and folks, if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, well, why don't you click the Patreon link right over there on the cachingnw.com website.
Whew. The tension was building there.
I wanted to see how tense I could make you, Chris. And I've just started. Like, I'll get you wound up tonight. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you. Hey, if you want to add something, ask something, interject something into tonight's chat, use the hashtag goals. That's a goal-oriented hashtag right there. And of course, you can use the hashtag FATAS to bring up something in the after show.
The after show. Feels so weird not to have it the echo when you say that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
wait, it's right here somewhere.
the after show.
There you go. Good stuff. All right.
Sorry, I'm not used to hitting that button. I didn't know where it was right away.
Good stuff. Hey, we've got a little bit of news. I'm gonna be cold reading this because I haven't looked at this yet, but
You can do it. I believe in you.
I'm no Jim. I'll just start with that. But Cambalda family, is that how that's pronounced? Does anybody know how that name is pronounced? Cambalda?
I would say
Cambalda.
Cambalda.
Yeah.
Cambalda family unearthed gold nugget during geocache treasure hunt. Wow. All right.
Haven't we all done that? Oh, wait. No.
This sounds like fun. All right. A Cambalda. Oh, so it's a location. So it's not the
Yes.
family's name. I thought it was the family's name. All right.
It's Australian. I'll spill the beans.
So it's Cambalda. Gotcha.
Yeah,
All
read it
right.
upside down. It'll make more sense.
All right. So the Cambalda family, led by Linda Wilding and her grandchildren, recently completed a geocache treasure hunt. All right, I'm going to stop that. Established by Victorian prospector Jen Walsh. The challenge, announced on Walsh's Facebook page, Chicks with Pics Australia. Okay, I love that. Chicks with Pics Australia. Okay, stop listening to the podcast right now and go Google Chicks with Pics Australia, because this has to be an amazing website. But anyhow, involved locating a gold nugget hidden near Widjimultha. Oh, I love Australian names. With GPS coordinates provided. The Walding family, living close to the site, found the prize within 2 days, which included a gold nugget attached to a doll. Chicks with Pics Australia merchandise. Go to the website. You can get your own Chicks with Pics t-shirt and ball cap, I'm sure. And Walsh's prospecting hat. The family's success brought joy to Walsh, who had planted the nugget during her Goldfields prospecting adventure as a way of giving back to the community. Linda Walding, expressing excitement for her grandchildren, noted the significance of the memorable experience. Walsh was delighted by the quick discovery and plans to return to the Goldfields next year and visit the Walding family, having sent them additional merch as a token of appreciation. That is very cool. What a fun story. And now I have learned about Chicks with Pics Australia.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm definitely gonna have to look that up. A test, Chicks with Pics.
Hey, and if you're out there listening and you're a procrastinator and you think, oh, I really meant to buy Land Monkey a Christmas gift and I just ran out of time. And you know how much he wears a different ball cap on every episode. We could start a little poll to see how many weeks of the podcast go by before he's sporting a Chicks with Pics Australia cap on the podcast. Somebody out there could find one and send it to him. We'll see how that goes.
There you go. Well, I do have one. I'm not wearing it tonight, but I was wearing it the last couple of podcasts from Tony's Coffee, new prize supporter of the podcast. So don't have that one on tonight. I got
Looking forward to sampling some of those prizes.
Got my Amsterdam one on because I was editing videos from my Euro 2023 trip earlier. So I was in the mood.
Nice.
In the zone.
Nice.
All right.
As for me, I'm glad to be back here in my regular studio. Traveling is fun, but traveling and podcasting is a whole different experience.
We're going to talk a lot about traveling tonight, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, the dynamic duo sitting down below me on the podcast Hollywood Squares set here have been up to a lot in 2023, and I think they've got a lot planned in 2024 as well, because they ain't stopping just because the calendar changes. Now, I can't imagine that there's anybody listening to us or watching the show that has no idea who you are, but just in case they've forgotten, the end of the year, they're getting sleepy, or maybe they're brand new. Welcome if you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here, how you got started with geocaching, and whatever you did wrong to serve penance on Thursday night with the three of us yahoos.
I'm GiaCaches. I first learned about geocaching in 2011, but I didn't start doing it consistently until 2014. One of the first caches I found was just a traditional near my parents' home in central Minnesota, and I was amazed. So it was a spot I had passed 100 times, and it was like, oh my gosh, these are all over. And I've pretty much been doing it ever since. So yeah, I grew up in central Minnesota and started working at headquarters 2.5 years ago, which is where I met Jesse.
Yeah, and I'm Jessie. I am JT Coffee. I also started in 2011, but it was when I was living in Michigan, and the nature center I worked at there called us, or school in the neighborhood called us and said, do you guys think you could run an after school club about geocaching for fourth graders? They're learning geography and maps and compasses, and so they were like, geocaching seems like a good game for them to play and learn those things. We're like, absolutely. And then only one of us on staff actually knew how to go geocaching or knew anything about it, and so we're like, and you'll be needing to take us. And that was February 2011. And so I found my first cache, which is an old multi in Michigan, in a foot of snow. And I thought, well, that was fun. And let's keep going. And I haven't really been able to stop since. And I started working at HQ December 2020.
There you go. Great origin stories.
Yeah.
It's always fun to find out where the experience, where the game started, where the addiction began. All right. Well, for those who may not have picked up on this quite yet, both of our guests tonight are actually joining us from their office, and they work at Geocaching HQ. Now, for those, I think most of the folks who are listening to this podcast are familiar with the term lackey as an employee of Geocaching HQ. But as both of you are geocaching lackeys, how does that affect how you play the game of geocaching?
Yeah, I really had to think about that question, because in some ways, not at all. And in some ways, almost in every way. And it's, we go out caching just as often as we do without working for geocaching. And it doesn't stop us from geocaching. We both of us turned our passion into work, and that hasn't slowed us down one bit. And as a matter of fact, it gives me the opportunity to travel. And so that gives me more access to the community and the events that people put on and the caches that they hide. And so then I'm able to make more lofty goals and go geocaching more often. And it's so great. Yeah.
Pretty much same. I think last time I was on the show, someone pointed out, like, if you look at my caching stats from being in the Midwest, someone figured out that there are more caches in King County, Washington, than the entire state of North Dakota. So as far as like opportunities for different types of caches and different styles of caches, there's definitely more to choose from here.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's certainly true. I was just on the East Coast last week, and I was shocked at the lack of caches around, right? Hey, we're going to stop here. Of course, I can do a quick park and grab while, the rest of my companions go do the other. No, there's nothing around here for a long way. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and over here, it's just the land of abundance. Like, yeah. If you're looking for one, can't find it, that's fine. I'll go just down there and find the next one. Or events. We were just saying there was an event after work today, and we got to attend that. And there's an event this morning, and there's just events all the time. It's great.
There seems to be an event near or at HQ every third day.
If not twice as often.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. So many people that are traveling from other places will host events, and so it's a neat opportunity to get to visit with them, and they're always excited to be at HQ, and it's fun. Yeah. I like my office window overlooks the virtual at the JP Patches Brown statue, and we always joke it'd be fun to have a laser pointer to help identify which brick people may be looking. Yeah, like a microphone.
It'd be like they're cats. You follow the laser.
You need a green laser that's going to work better during the daylight.
I noticed
if you haven't done it yet.
Yeah. I did try a laser pointer that we had in a conference room, but it wasn't strong enough to reach.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty thick glass. Even banging on the glass, you really can't hear. They have to look up at you, and then you can point down, over.
Oh, that's
sorry, Omar Shay.
I have this mental image now of Gia's window, and everybody's just got their faces pressed up against it and banging no, to the left.
Keep looking, it's there.
It's easier just to go outside and show them.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, I do remember finding that one. And really, even though you're looking right at the building, just with the angle and the light in that, you really can't see inside those windows. So
Yeah.
that's a shame. But for those of us, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
CBEC Drive says you need a hidden camera with speaker to talk to them.
Nice. We'll make it Brian's voice or something.
There you go. You do Brian's voice, make it echo. Just for us.
Just for that old time's sake.
Yeah.
Well, for those of us who are lucky enough to cache in the densely cache saturated Pacific Northwest, they may have noticed that your two caching names appear quite often together on geocache log sheets. How long have you been getting out geocaching together, and really, how did that teamwork start?
It was your second day of work. That was the first time we went caching.
Yeah, I didn't have a car out here yet, and so I got a ride from HQ with Jesse, who was going out to do a cache maintenance run, and I was coming off a 2-day slump of not finding a cache, and so I was like, I'll go, of course, like I'll be able to find these caches. And we pulled up to her cache at Hinghay Park, and I was like, gosh, I think I found a cache here a couple of years ago. And I pulled it up on my phone and looked at the log and realized that I had logged that very cache 5 years ago that day.
To the day.
And like, I'm not usually big into signs or like kismet or like that kind of thing, but it was one of those moments like I felt like I was in the right spot.
Yeah. Neither of us were lackeys when I hit it or when she found it. And then we were both lackeys as we were finding it then. And it was just wow.
And my original log was like, I love the Pacific Northwest. I'm about to go visit HQ.
I could see myself living here.
Yeah.
And we were like,
that's just kind of like the stars aligned.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was really cool. And then we were going to the Mariners game right after that with a bunch of our coworkers. And so we were just kind of explode with, and it was exactly the right audience to be like, you guys, this is so cool.
Look at this log 5 years ago. And like, of course, geocachers care.
Yeah, right. So that
cool.
was exactly the right receiving audience for that story. And so we have it marked on our calendars as Hinghay Park Day so that we'll always do cache maintenance on that day or something else.
Sure.
That's awesome.
But yeah, then we just kind of kept going from there, and we operate very similarly with early start times, and we make long lists and caching. We have similar caching priorities and
snacks on the road.
Yep. And we often will add just one more and are totally fine adding just several more. Or go off list or stay on list. And it's just really easy to go caching together.
Yeah, I know that you're a morning person there. When I worked in Seattle, I'm also a morning person. I hit a couple early morning events that you hosted there at HQ, so that was fun. It's good to have somebody that matches your schedule and snack choices and things like that for when you're out caching. So we talked about your planned out challenge caching, how far you out. So let's recap 2023 as we're wrapping up this year. What were your top challenges that you were trying to achieve, and how did you do on those challenges?
This was a fun one to think about. Like I said, being in the Pacific Northwest has really changed the way that I cache and what type of challenges I'm able to achieve. And I did like some stuff for the numbers people, like looping my DT grid and my calendar grid and adding a bunch of new states and countries. I'm also now out here in the Midwest, or at least in like the North Dakota area. People do not focus on things like finding a multi-cache every day of the year. And out here, that's a thing. So like, of course, now that I know it's a thing, now I'm trying to do it. So I have exactly 100 days left. So that will be something I look to next year. But I think, my personal caching accomplishment that I wrote down was I've placed caches in the Pacific Northwest now, which was something I was really apprehensive to do when I first moved out here, especially after having maintained a geo tour, which was a labor of love and a lot of work. And so it's been fun to kind of get back into that aspect of putting new things on the game board and getting enjoyment from reading logs. That's been fun. I also got to bring Jessie back to the Midwest and bring her to Gilby, which is something that I've been talking about to her and really anyone that will listen to me since I first went to Gilby. So it was fun to get to introduce her to all of my Midwest friends. And like, that was definitely a 2023 highlight for me.
Yeah, same. I knew about Gilby before I met Gia, and so getting to see it in real life was pretty fantastic. Yep, that was our big reveal. We're like, we're coming, everyone.
When we announced that we were coming.
Yeah.
All the Gilby apparel from our desks.
Yeah, that was so exciting, and the hype and the being there and celebrating the excitingness of it, and yeah, so that was certainly a goal for me of caching in those states, because I hadn't been there and experiencing the wonder that is caching in the Midwest. Other goals that I had this year, I really wanted to finish my quad Jasmer, which I did do in April, and that was such an epic trip. I mapped out a route that would get me like the last 11 that I needed or something like that, because at that point when I left, that's the victory. Arikari in Kansas. That's where it ended. And when we left, I hadn't even looped it a second time. So I would loop Jasmer second, third, and fourth time on this trip. And we started in Chicago and flew out of Denver and drove thousands of miles in a short amount of time, but got all kinds of really incredible caches. And we could, and Mingo is one that I needed. Gia had already been there, but she agreed to go along, and then we could pick up a whole bunch of other oldies and the cactus attribute and work on all these other challenges piled on top of each other, and county cache, which was exciting. So that was a really fun trip, and that felt like a huge accomplishment to get that done. I also finally finished the Washington counties of caching each one, as well as the cities and towns. I don't think CRS98 is in the chat tonight. Maybe he is. Hello if he is. But that was one of those challenges. I knew I'd do it eventually. And then as I would just drive around and cache around Washington, I'd be like, oh yeah, I gotta Odessa. All right, I gotta go up there. And then you kind of go over here, and then there's all this one random little town. Wait, where is the boundary? I think I had to go to Rock Island 3 times because the first 2 I got it right out of the border. And so it was just kind of this challenge that was always on a back burner. And I finally did it this year, and it was great, very victorious. I think it was midsummer, June, July. Mm-hmm. We did that
with the Geo Tours.
Yeah, and then we finished up the Geo Tours, the new WSGA 7 statewide Geo Tours, and we both wrapped those up pretty middle of summer. And so that was a really cool way to see the state and get to all those little corners and to be shown all the little special gems out there that in the state I've nearly always been in.
And for me, it helped me get a better sense of where things are.
Mm-hmm.
I spent in the beginning when I first moved out here, I was constantly like logging will attends to events that looked really close on the map, but
yeah.
So let me understand this trip where you did your second, third, and fourth loop of the Jasmer. You flew into Chicago and flew out of Denver?
Yeah.
We also went to Wisconsin.
Yeah. So we went, gosh, it's been a few months since I've recounted this, but from Beverly to get the second loop for me, and then up through Wisconsin.
We hosted an event.
Yeah. We have a coworker out there, had to say hi to her, had to see some friends, came back down, Wisconsin's oldest. Yep, there's Beverly. And then through Indiana's oldest, popped up a little bit into Michigan.
We got the webcams.
Got the webcams in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. So that was important. The cactus attribute, like I said. And then down Missouri, oldest there. We were also trying to get the oldest non-traditional cache in each of those states. So
for a challenge.
And then county caching all the way through Indiana, Missouri, and Kansas to get to Mingo and Arikari. And then popped up real quick to Nebraska because you're just right there. You can't say no. And then over to Denver where we had an event, and then flew home.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It was incredible. Yeah.
Not the most efficient route between Chicago and Denver, unless you're geocaching.
Right. And some of those oldies, like there's some like October or November 2000 caches in Indiana, Turkey Run stash. And that was some really amazing, like cool honeycomb weathering kind of canyons. And we're in Indiana. I'm like, this is
Of all places.
really cool. Yeah.
Tell you, the Midwest is a great place to explore.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of exploring and places, and so, some amazing goals you've achieved, but it sounds like both of you have been able to put a lot of states, counties, countries under your belt collectively this year. How many do you think you've been able to travel to?
We did the math.
We did.
Okay.
We're at 19 states and 12 countries.
Wow. That's
And the
amazing.
countries we did kind of in a whirlwind, like we didn't stop and stick around. We
were told that's a very American way of doing it. And they weren't all new states. They were just states that we have we've stepped foot in this year.
Okay.
Some of those were new for each of us, and some of the countries were new for each of us. And it wasn't all for work, it was a lot. Some of it was just like that big trip I just described. And we got to each of us attend some events in France this year, and we ended up taking time off in between those events to travel around the edge of the countries and see what caches we could find. And then we decided, well, gosh, everything is so close over there that we did 5 countries in a day. And that was pretty cool. And then we ended up in Paris. Well, then we just continued to add a few more countries, went down to Monaco, and then back up to Paris, where we were meeting up with a big event of a bunch of community volunteer reviewers and translators and moderators from all over the world. It was really cool to visit with them and meet them and hang out with them.
Very cool.
And yeah, and just even seeing all those places, caches, of course, were great, but we could see the Swiss Alps and the London Tube and Pikes Peak this year, and Florida's High Point was a really comical highlight.
The highest elevation.
Maybe the highest higher the elevation than that. And then of Gilby, of course, there's just so many cool places that we got to visit this year.
Very cool.
Well, Jeannie says it was great to see you at Gilby Gone Wild. And asked, did it really take Jessie 3 tries at Strongman? She must have needed more chippers.
I did. And it really, the first one was a practice. And then I thought, okay, I get a better stance. And then third time was a charm. Nailed it that time. And then I wanted to do it again, but I knew we were supposed to give it. Chad asked us to just do it one time.
Also, we always need more chippers.
That's true.
The answer, Jerry. If you guys don't know what chippers are, they're chocolate-covered potato chips.
From potatoes grown in the Red River Valley in North Dakota.
It's a North Dakota delicacy.
They're amazing.
There you go.
The company, I believe, is Cow Chips that puts them out. And, he handed those to me at the Seattle event, and I'm like, well, these could be interesting. And it really was a good combination.
That's where I've had them.
Yes.
Like,
this
we
works.
gifted some, and those are delicious. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking
he shared them with Brian, and Brian is obsessed with them. He's ordered several of them, which is like not an easy feat. They don't have an easy online ordering system. You either have to call or place a fax order. So I feel like that really speaks to how much he likes these chippers.
Mm-hmm.
A fax order. Wow.
Yeah.
That's commitment.
It is. Yeah.
So now we've been fortunate enough to catch you guys at the occasional geocaching event in the past year, but what events have been the most memorable for you? I mean, obviously you've not only been to events right here in the Seattle area, but all over the world. So there has to be a couple that you go, wow, I'm really glad I made it to this.
I mean, obviously for me, Gilby, like getting to be there for most of the events, and getting to see so many of my friends from the Midwest was really cool and special to be able to bring Jessie back and show her that. I mean, attending megas is always fun, but like I do prefer the smaller events because I feel like I have more of a chance to visit with people, and sometimes megas can be kind of overwhelming, especially if you're the only lucky there. Like people talk to you, and like of course you want to visit, but like it can feel a little chaotic. So I like the smaller events.
Yeah, we got to attend a bunch of megas this year. The Yuma, and we went to Bamarama, which was a new one this year in the Gulf Shores of Alabama, and Tri-Cities, and then we attended a mega in France, which was really cool. And yeah, it is. I love talking to people. So when I have the opportunity to really get a chance to get to talk to someone, it's their first event, or figure out where they're from or how far they've been to or from to get there. You know, that's always so exciting. There's Yuma. And that was my first Yuma event.
I know that guy.
Yeah, I think I recognize him too.
For those of you listening, that's GSM times 2 in the picture, but obviously you could tell that.
You could just hear it come through the audio.
Yeah, and then attending small events or hosting events is really fun too. We got to host an event this year I was just thinking about it earlier today, as inspired by information I heard from this very podcast several years ago. We did a Halloween episode about haunted places, and we were talking about the cache called the Bloated Festering Head of my first victim. And you all were saying, I bet somebody's going out there tonight. And I filed that away, wrote it down as like, that would be a fun way to spend Halloween. Yeah. And made it happen. We did it this year. We had an event. And we went out there, and it was there 9 of us? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh,
a dog,
Ozzy. Yeah. And we had so much fun. It was 2 hours out there, and it wasn't too wet, but it was and it was clear, but it was really dark, and it was some people's first event, and some people came all the way from Michigan and Ohio, and like it was great. Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's quite the turnout. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great geocache to do on Halloween. But of course, it's a good one to do anytime. I mean, that one you just have to prepare for, right? You're going to get wet.
Yep.
Most likely.
So
we bought waders for the occasion.
Yeah.
Wow.
You could
really committed to that.
Possibly over prepared, but
there wasn't quite that much water, and we had good intel as to which way to go in for the most dry experience.
That's the way to do it.
I can't say we had that knowledge going in. We had more knowledge and experience coming out, as one typically does.
Yeah. So it goes. Hard way in, way out.
Yes. Bushwhack in, trail out.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, there's so much fun chat going by. I can't even keep up with it all. Seabeck Tribe, she says, events are fun and have been crazy hosting events and ramped it up since July of this year. Hosting my 50th event on Sunday at a bowling alley.
I always get those notifications. Oh, Lori's hosting another event.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, for those watching us live tonight, regretfully we're without a chat lackey tonight, so we're trying to keep up with the comments, but we've become chat lackey dependent. So
yes, we have, haven't we?
I did see a couple go by about you were talking about elevation. Someone says the highest elevation in Florida is a low point for a highlight, and then Lazy Uncle says, fun fact: the highest point in Bellevue, which for our non-Puget Sound listeners is right near Seattle, across the lake, it's higher than the highest point in the entire Netherlands. So there you go.
Love that. Those little fun facts that just pull out at any time.
Just file that one away.
File that one away.
Oh yeah, and MC3 Cat says, or you can helicopter out, but that's usually not a fun way to come out if it's
usually
unless it's planned.
Yeah.
I don't have the budget to plan that, and then yeah,
That's not the stealth option.
no.
The one
All
day
right.
helicopter in,
There you go.
drop in to a remote location, get a cache, come back out.
I always wanted to be in a helicopter. I've never been in one. So let's see. You guys had quite the year. I mean, as one would expect. Looking forward, planning a bunch of new stuff. Are we maybe going to see an official JT Coffee Geocaching Challenge planning book available for purchase for us mere mortals?
That would be so fun. Yeah, you should write into Shop Geocaching.
Okay.
You can find them on social now. Actually, that was when they're on TikTok and they're in all the places, as a matter of fact.
Awesome.
Very cool.
All right. So everybody who's watching the show or listening to the show later, just ping them and say, I need my JT Coffee notebook. Where is it? I can't find it. I've been going through the entire site.
Handy dandy notebook.
I'm sure that they'll really enjoy all those messages, and then they'll make their way over to HQ and say,
What's going on?
Matt. Well.
Too funny. Well, so many fun places you guys have been and big events and all kinds of stuff. Chris was asking a little bit earlier as well, but are there top experiences from your 2023 adventures that you can share with our listeners, maybe even things that they might think about planning to do themselves in the future?
Yeah, I feel like I already kind of went on my little riff about how much I love the Midwest and Gilby, and I do think it was fun, like thinking about having the opportunity to travel internationally and like chatting with people in France and in Belgium, and like the commonalities with the game and like what people love. Like, I mean, that's what I've always liked about this, and like feeling connected to people that share a hobby all over the world. Like, that's just cool. And it's still cool.
Yeah. The trip to, there we were. That's a virtual cache. Those are some mega hosts. From
KGB event, great event in Belgium. Everyone should go.
Those are, two Belgium mega hosts that met up with us in France, because after the big reviewer meeting, we had a public meeting where everybody who came, all the reviewers and translators, were supposed to bring a treat from their country. And so there was just this buffet, because there were 70 volunteers that came from, maybe 20 different countries. And there was chocolates from Switzerland, of course. And then there were sweets. There was like this, like a ham from Mallorca. And there was this kind of sambuca stuff from Czechia, and like everywhere. And it was so cool. And so and we got to meet a lot of geocachers from all over, because having the opportunity to meet volunteers, a lot of them reviewers from a lot of different countries, is a cool opportunity. You don't get that very often, even at mega events. And so a lot of folks came, and those were friends from Belgium that came over, and we were finding a virtual with them ahead of the event. And it's so neat to be able to see people I haven't seen for a while at the mega and be handed a trackable that someone was keeping because it was mine, but they knew they were going to see me. And so having the moment of like this, hey, I got it back to you. And I love those. And being surrounded by people's passions for the thing that I'm most passionate about too is pretty amazing.
That is pretty amazing. And I mean, I think we're all thinking it, but you guys are both so lucky to be able to go to some of these places for work, and not just go there, but like go there and then be in that community of people who are equally passionate about it. That's amazing. That's a dream awesome
job for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And the people being like, discover my trackable. Okay. That sounds great. Come find this cache with me. Absolutely. Immediately. Yes. Like, that sounds great.
Yeah. So much. Yes.
Yeah.
Love it. What do you guys have on the radar for 2024? What big plans do you already have written down, or are you just setting your goals and figuring out how to meet them along the way?
A little bit of both. There are sometimes we sign a challenge, like the challenge to find the oldest non-traditional cache in 10 states was one. I think we signed that at Bamarama. And then we're like, well, that's the new priority one. And because we were already going on that trip, so we just layered it on. And so sometimes the opportunities come up, at least for me. I love finding new fun challenges like that. We do have trips planned. Our next most exciting one in just about 2 months is the Great Leap Forward Mega, which is in Adelaide, Australia. And so we'll spend Leap Day in Australia this year, and I'm very excited. I've never been.
Same.
And we'll have an opportunity to meet all kinds of folks down there and experience that whole space. And then right after that, I feel like you can't fly over New Zealand without actually going to New Zealand. So then just for fun, we'll go to New Zealand and find more caches and do Lord of the Rings stuff and all kinds of fun stuff like that.
You're there. You have to, spend a day, at least a day, right? If not more, to go do that. Exactly.
Make sure you get a good map, because funny sidebar, I heard a podcast of somebody that was from there. You would be amazed. You can Google it. How many world maps completely omit New Zealand? So, it's like, no, you're kidding. No, it really is a thing.
Wow.
It's a country the size of it's comparable to Japan, or it's a significant landmass, and yet
it's not New Jersey.
Map makers will completely omit it sometimes. So okay,
wow.
I derailed.
Another fun fact: they're just coming left and right tonight.
We have a quick question, since you guys are the international travelers. From Matt asking, he's planning on a trip to Hanover, wondering if you have any suggestion for translating cache pages.
It's a great question. When I went to Germany, and the German reviewers said DeepL instead of Google Translate. You do either, but they say DeepL works best. Okay. So it's an app. I put it on my phone, and then I could set it as a preference of when I highlight text, it shows up as an option. Would you like to open this in DeepL?
Oh, nice.
I have an extension on Chrome that's Google Translate that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I do as well, Gia. When I've been traveling through Europe, is using the Google Translate on the phone, which is super helpful, because then you can just because also if you're doing adventure labs, right, like that becomes a real challenge.
Yeah, it really does, because then you even have to put the answer in and then have that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Been there.
DeepL, so like DEEPLE, is that
just without the E? DEPL, DeepL.
Okay. Never heard of that. We'll have to look that up. That's cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So here you go. Oops, I hit. Yeah, IHAM says the Globe at Universal Studios theme park didn't have New Zealand until the Lord of the Rings movies came out.
Well, and then someone's like, "Where is that?"
Yeah, exactly.
It's not on there.
Literally.
Too funny.
Oh boy.
All right. Any of these ones that I want to grab, guys? Or we?
I saw that Komakino is one cache away from qualifying for a challenge that I own. Whew. And that challenge is currently disabled because the park is under construction.
Oh no!
I know. It's like,
Komakino,
We've got some time.
Yeah, no rush there.
Oh boy, yeah. I'm hoping that it's a park in this area that used to be a golf course, and so it's kind of turning from a very curated place. Oh, hi, Igor. It's so great this is a community volunteer translator from Slovakia.
Wow.
Sorry, Slovenia.
And we had an amazing adventure with him in Paris.
Yeah, we got
unforgettable.
Yeah, we got to go down under the streets of Paris to find a cache together, and it's just
wow.
Very cool.
It's so cool.
Is it the one you shared a photo of?
No. Yes, there is a photo in there.
one
Yeah,
in there.
we're in hats. That
Not
wasn't
that
that
one.
one. That was a really cool multi. But there is one we're in headlamps and kind of around graffiti, and Igor's in it too.
See what we can find here.
There's just
All sorts of headlamps.
kinds of fun. There
Yeah,
it
right
is.
there.
That's the one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
It
we had to
was
wade
so
through the
cool.
water. You could see how wet we were, but the water was so clear.
Oh, you didn't
and-
take your waders with you there.
You'll note we have bike helmets on.
which
Yeah.
was important because
Helpful.
we had to
We
like
needed
crawl
those.
some of the
Yeah.
time. And yeah, that's Igor there, and it was such a cool time. And there's a lot of art under there, and this like man sculpture is there, and there's lots of cool walls that just have kind of it's graffiti-esque, but also not really, just spaces where people hang out and put up community art and a cache.
Pedophiles.
Yeah.
They have names.
Oh gosh. And they and they're cache down there too.
Wow.
Lazy Uncle wants to know, how does the GPS work down there?
It's difficult.
The cache page has a very detailed series of like turn here.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
helps to know French. We had someone that knew French that was helping kind
Okay.
of show us the way.
Yeah.
yeah, there's-
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a very intricate series of like streets and turns and
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
almost a letterbox.
It was kind of like that. You definitely had to know your way around, and there's lots of markers and old street signs that you could read and follow your way through. But yeah, Igor runs the geocaching club, and he's a great ambassador for the game out there, and has this great blog about all kinds of things. Runs a mega too, another mega host. Come to
Oh, there you go.
runs a really great blog about all the exciting geocaching there is to do in Slovenia.
Oh, he says he'll publish a blog about your adventure one of these days.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah. Let's see, the other goals that we have for next year. I'd like to finish finding a cache in all 50 US states. I am not there yet. I'm very close. I'm single digits, 5 away, I think. And so I'd like to wrap that up next year.
Sure.
So now I'm curious. What are your missing states?
The Carolinas,
Okay.
Delaware, West Virginia, and
Mhm.
Oklahoma.
I'm surprised you haven't been to West Virginia.
I've been very close to West Virginia, but then I was with non-geocachers, and so I just thought, oh, I'll be back.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like it's mostly doable in a lengthy road trip.
Yeah, we could do it. Totally
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Anything's doable in a lengthy road trip.
We just took our vacation and went to the Carolinas, and so you have to plan your caches there, right? Well, I did drive across to North Carolina, grab a cache just to
Mhm.
get the state. And my wife's home this week, and she's starting to plan our next vacation. I said, okay, I need New England
Mhm.
and I need New Mexico. So
Oh,
let's do that somewhere. Put that into the vacation
There you
offer.
go.
You need the new places. Do you need New Jersey?
New Zealand.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
same trip.
I have New York, so that doesn't count.
Mhm.
New Brunswick.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, there's a whole bunch of things that have jump past.
No.
Should we do that in the after show, or should we?
Yeah. Why don't we finish up with the stuff we had scripted, and then let's
Okay,
try and catch up with.
Yeah.
exactly.
We're suffering from chat lack.
Lack of lackeys.
Lack of lackeys. Yes, chat lackeys.
We've got great lackeys, but not the one we need tonight.
Exactly.
Well, maybe we'll kind of run towards the tail end of what we have scripted here. Do you, either of you, both of you, have any thoughts or inspirations to leave with the listeners tonight to close out 23 and prepare them for 24? What do you think?
Yeah, we were just talking about this, and I think for me, a big theme of the year has just been reach out and take it. Like, come up with something that is inspiring to you, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be something big or something that somebody else is working on. Find a challenge or a quest or a thing a box you'd like to check, and it's something that makes you feel good or wild or excited, and do it and make it happen, because it's adds a lot, and it can be just that easy of reaching out and taking it.
There you go.
Yeah, I like
Nice.
What she said.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great advice. Great advice. So there you go, folks. If you're still waiting to get your JT Coffee notebook, in the meantime, some words of wisdom, which I'm sure will be inscribed on the inside
Right.
cover.
Absolutely. Sure.
Oh, each
And
one is
slowly
hand.
strip.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, JT Coffee and GiaCaches, thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for the after show. We'll ask you some more questions, but let's take care of a little business. And listeners, thank you for tuning into this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
Absolutely. And we'll take a moment also to thank Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate Denali level sponsors. LandSharkz.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. And those Black Friday sales are still going on for a limited time.
Oh,
And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, check out exploregoldcountry.com. Check out the GeoTours, download the app. And folks, we want to thank all of our faithful Denali level supporters. That's, of course, Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, but it's also Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, Cool Cow Cachers, and Cachely, the geocaching app. If you want to know more about supporting this show, head on over and click that Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website.
like Ari54321 did.
Yes. And BC Rock Crawler,
And Just Carlo,
B Pendragon,
Mountain Bike,
Subway Mark,
Gas Station Tuna,
GeoNav Pro,
Seebeck Tribe,
Logwork,
Just Finding Our Way,
Ackerdock,
and Teus.
Korsgat,
Wet Coaster,
Ev MacD.
J-Car,
Segehove,
I lost my spot. LG 9000,
Skyhawker,
Beach of Washington,
Boomer 365,
The Camp Clan,
Al Robrick,
Kid Vegas 19,
Dora Moore,
MC3 Cats,
Winos Seattle. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I jumped you. Go ahead.
Wino Seattle,
I'll say Trexer like I was supposed to.
and I'll say
You made me think I lost my spot again.
No, it was me this time. I screwed up.
and now
How
you've
about
lost
you?
your spot.
Dak,
Green Words,
Team Noltex,
you talks to rocks.
Genies,
M Nerve,
GRS or CRS 98.
How about GiaCaches,
how about GeoCaches, and Flagman,
GSM times 2.
Limax.
and Nervous Energies.
Well, we're getting rough at the end of the year here, folks. So,
Yeah, we are.
yeah, I'm going to put it to bed for 23. Hey, thanks, GiaCaches and JT Coffee. We love having you guys on. You're welcome back anytime. If somebody wanted to reach out and ask you some question offline, do you have a preferred method that people can get in touch with you guys?
I'm really bad at message centers. Like, terrible.
Good to know.
Email is best for me. Or if you have my phone number, text me.
Or I can get to her if you
Yeah.
message me and be like, yes, Gia,
Honestly.
sure.
There you go. I get the hunch that you guys don't spend too much time apart for very long.
Yeah.
And I love to talk to people just at events.
Yeah, IRL is great, and you
That's-
can always hang. We go to a lot of events. I am accessible in so many places. Message Center is great, or even on Facebook, you can find me there too, and I do check that. But message center or email is probably the easiest way, and it's our first names at geocaching.com. Jessie, Gia at Geocaching. How easy.
Sounds great.
There you go. Keeping it simple.
Yeah.
I love it. And folks, thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. So if you like the show, please click the Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website. And if you didn't like the show, I don't know how that's possible, this show, but let us know what you want us to talk about. And if you like the vibe, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. And of course, you can call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or help us out with our notebook any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingandw.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang, who didn't show up tonight. This show is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright for the last time in 2023 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
All right. There it is.
Fatas.
Yes.
Hashtag Pataz. Yep.
yeah.
All right.
We've got a lot of things here. I'm just gonna jump in.
Okay.
Black Tribe says, Jesse, I feel your pain on getting the cities and towns. I have 4 left.
Yeah. And yeah, I just placed one in Wilson Creek because the one that was the one qualifier was archived. Like,
Wow.
oh no, I need that one. And I can't log it, but it was if you own one, it counts.
Oh,
So,
does
I
it?
see.
Okay.
yeah.
So you
Well,
found a loophole.
Cliff at least accepts that as a qualifier. So
Okay.
Yeah.
She also says it was amazing to get 2, 3, and 4 loops.
yeah, the same trip. That was pretty cool.
That
Very
is.
stressful because I was certain I had screwed up something. I brought that up practically every day. I'm like, what if I counted wrong? And you're like, you can't. It's okay.
I'm like just happy to be here driving.
I must. What if we don't get that one? I'm like, that's fine.
Gia, Seabeck Tribe remembers you did one of those will attends on an event in Kitsap
Yeah, and then
Peninsula.
I mapped it, and it was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
12 miles.
But
It's only like this
right
far
over
on the
here.
map.
Yeah.
Hard lesson to learn.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, right? With the Northwest, it's not just the scale of the map, but it's also particularly in that region of the Northwest with the Olympic Peninsula, right? It's like, oh, well, it's only this far over, yet, but you can't go that way. You got to go all the way around.
You got to go down and around or ferry over or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's see. GSM times 2 says I had 2 geocaching accomplishments for 2023. Potter's Pond was exciting, and presenting leveling up your adventure lab at Geo Woodstock and caching at the Bay.
Oh,
Or caching the Bay. Sorry, I put an extra syllable in there.
yeah.
There you go. We had some from Comakino. Finished getting caches in all of the Washington counties. There you go. Now,
Well done.
there's an interesting one. I don't know if there's probably multiple challenges, but there's one Washington State county challenge we've been working on, and it has to be larger than a small, or a small or
Micro.
larger.
It
Micros
can't
don't count.
be a micro. And in one of them, I only had a micro. And I was like, so like my county map on Project GC was all cleared out, but I did not qualify for that challenge. But amazingly, it was the county that contained the last cities and towns I needed. So I was going there
nice.
anyway.
There you go. That works
Yeah.
out. Dora Moore finished off the Canadian provinces this year, all 10. That's
Nice.
impressive. For 2024, she's hoping to get to at least one of the territories, or maybe 2, fingers crossed. Getting to the
Nice.
territories is
Mhm.
not simple. That is a big trip. So awesome. Congratulations, Dora Moore. That's a big accomplishment.
There's a lot of planning because there's some months you just can't get there.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could kind of get
Helicopter in.
well, no, two out of three of the territories, Northwest Territories and Yukon, you can get there any time of the year. Just you got to fly. But Nunavut is the challenge. That one is not easy to get to. Lazy Uncle, their goal made it to 300 finally. Congratulations. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
GSM ×2. I think that events are the glue that holds geocaching together. Yes, I agree.
I love that comment. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That
Jim,
is
do you
good.
want to take some?
Oh, let's see. Komakino said he made it as a GIF 2023 finalist. So that was fun. We interviewed him on a podcast episode along with, my mind went blank. Tell me who else we interviewed that night because I feel bad.
We had Cache Canada.
Cache Canada, yes. And then we were talking about, hey, just contact the store and ask for the JT Coffee notebook. And Seaback Tribe says, oh, the poor store.
Give them a heads up in the morning.
Speaking of,
we want to check social media. Just yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Speaking of folks we've had on the podcast talking about things, GSM ×2 has been on, and we've talked about the historic Route 66 Adventure Lab series. So he's making plans to do that. A few days at Geo Woodstock 20 along the way. What else we got here? Wet Coaster says, don't forget to log GC9 Fave. You've got just a couple of days if you're listening to us live. If you're listening to this next week, you're too late. So, yep, got to do it in 2023 or just read the logs for some, light reading after that. Exactly. And Starcatcher said the same thing.
Don't even just draft it, like log it by the end date. Don't, because it's donezo after that.
Yeah.
Locked and gone.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I was kind of saving it for something special. Well, maybe something better will come up in the year. And I'm like, I got to do this now.
Yeah. Isn't that always the case, right? It's like, there's only one of these. We've got to save it and use it. Yeah, we were doing that. And then I think late summer, early fall, we're like, okay, this is getting silly. Let's just, what we wanted to do is line it up and use it for a milestone. Because it's a unique cache type, which we did, which was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Just Carlo logged his first webcam cache and found Canada's first cache. That's very cool.
That is cool, yeah.
Those are big goals, yeah.
Yeah.
3 hams in a rows. His goals for this past year, finally cached the ET Highway with Brian Lang and a couple of others. Got 1,006 finds in one day. With a long day to get back to the motel with only 30 miles of gas range left.
There you go.
That doesn't sound stressful at all.
No,
that's just fine.
Remember Kramer and the other guy?
Sorry, what's that, Jim?
Remember Kramer and the other guy who went past the slash?
Yeah. Farther left of the slash than anyone else.
Yeah.
There you go. That's hilarious.
That other guy. Lazy Uncle had, what's shakalacking? I thought that was a good phrase.
New expression.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And 3 ham. Oh, no, we did that.
I read it.
Just read that one. Yep.
He made it back with only 30 miles of gas range left.
I heard that somewhere.
Yeah.
Really?
It's amazing. As a Canadian, he probably didn't stress about that at all, right?
No. Exactly. That's like 8,000 kilometers.
30 miles. I don't know what that means.
You know what's funny, though, that you say that, because I find that obviously we do quite a bit of caching down in Washington. We were down there in December doing the trolls, the Northwest trolls. Had a lot of fun doing those and some other caching. And Google Maps, when we're using Google to navigate, which we're doing when, working from the Adventure Lab app and what have you to get to our next destination. And of course, Google's like, well, you're a Canadian, but you're in the US, so we're just going to do everything in Imperial. And it's like, oh, well, turn off in 1 mile. I'm like, I don't know. It could be 1,000,000 kilometers. I don't know how far a mile is. Why don't you just tell me in a unit I know? Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go. Komakino. His goals went with caching with Land Monkey again.
Oh, nice.
We did. We did the Ballard troll together. That was a lot of fun.
He probably didn't, Komakino, he probably didn't take you on a hike and try to kill you. So it's fine.
Did you do the one in West Seattle too? The one in Lincoln Park? She's my favorite one.
Yeah, you like that one? That's the flautist, right?
Yes, she's playing the horn out to the whales.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah, the stress increases when you read that. You know how those dashboard computers are. They base the projected miles left in the tank on your current driving conditions. So he says the car initially projected only 8 miles left after the 2.5-hour drive to the hotel, but highway efficiency brought it up to 30. So it was even closer to running on fumes than initially thought.
Yikes.
Glad you made it home safely.
Yeah.
And to a fuel station.
Indeed.
I have pulled into a fuel station as my engine stalled.
I have too.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's been a long time since I've run a vehicle out of gas.
Me too, but it's in my younger days. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait. I hope I can make it. And blah.
Yeah, this summer we almost did it, but made it. No problem.
My first car didn't have a working gas gauge, so I kept a log. I filled it up at this many miles. Again.
I did the same.
Wow.
And rolling over 1,000 once, I dropped didn't carry a 1 or whatever, and miscalculated and ran out.
That's hilarious.
Back in the old days. Yeah.
The air-cooled vehicle.
It was sure nice being on the East Coast and paying much lower gas prices. Much lower.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
they
$1 a
dropped
gallon.
for a couple of days out here, just right around Christmas time. The gas prices they dropped right off the map, and then boop right back up. So it's like, Merry Christmas.
Fill up now. No, nobody's going to be traveling. Let's make it look like we've, doing something nice.
Yeah,
it'll get better. It's an election year.
Awesome. All right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And again, ladies, thank you for joining us. You make the show fun.
Happy to be
for
here.
having us.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. And until next week, get out and go do a polar bear plunge in the Northwest.